That's kind of how that went down. It's so weird. It was like,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
no!
I told you this is a trick. This feels more like a trick. I gotta get up
I
too.
need to stand up.
Go
Go back.
Oi, oi.
Is this a treat? I don't know.
Is this what you wanted?
Is
Is this what you wanted,
No,
chat?
you don't want this.
You don't want this?
Hello, nice.
Scary.
I guess he's sitting.
Okay, he's here now. Rackman.
Oh shit, it's me. Okay. Alright, the Rackman. I did not know about this case until I like found it, I guess. There were a lot of cases that I found that were pretty interesting. But yeah, I picked this one out of randomness.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't know anything about this.
I don't know anything about this either, and this takes place in Sydney, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is like
Yeah,
in like the city that we are from.
Yeah, so this is a Rackman. So this was in Hawksbury, Sydney? Hawksbury River. So on the 11th of August 1994, local fisherman Mark Peterson, I think that was his name, was on his boat on the Hawksbury River, I think just north of Sydney. The net he was trying to pull in was like heavy, and he assumed that he just had like a lot of fish.
No.
But after pulling the net out of the water, he discovered a large metal frame, and on it was a decomposing body partially covered by a disintegrating plastic bag.
God damn.
Your face.
God damn.
Yeah, imagine like just coming across that while you're trying to like work.
What in the Silent Hill is this? Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. I've been to the Hawksbury River is quite big, but I've been to it before. I've
Sat by it and had a nice picnic.
yeah, me and Xan have had donuts by the Hawksbury River.
Yeah, but yeah, it is like a really big river, so like I mean there could be anything there.
It's huge, man.
Oh, that's true,
Yeah.
actually. I was just like thinking, oh yeah, it's a big river. Like, you know, it could have happened anywhere, but there could actually be anything in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right, Annie. There's probably a lot of things in there.
So the image on the left is the actual boat and the wreck. You don't see the body. It's just like you can see the frame.
That's quite a big frame.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the image on the right is from an article. It's like a diagram of what the frame looked like and like how the body was tied on.
Hawksbury rhymes
yeah.
with Corpsebury. Amazing.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I just had to like
It does.
complete it.
So police initially assumed that the man had been tied to the metal frame whilst covered in the bag and then like dumped into the river to drown. But when they did their like forensic testing and all that, they revealed that the man died as a result of blunt force trauma to the head.
Okay. That's
But
better
he
than
wasn't
being- yeah.
drowning.
Oh.
I mean, like they didn't know whether he'd like died on the frame or if he was tied to the frame after death and then thrown into the river. Yeah, but then like obviously like he's been in the water for a while. Ultimately, like his body just decomposed, and it was initially estimated that the body had been submerged for like roughly 12 months, like a year.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
we found locked, yeah.
That because like water does horrible things to
yeah.
like even in the span of a week, water can really mess up your
Cat Sorry.
being able to sorry, this is ridiculous outfit. But like
I mean, like
yeah,
just
mess
being
up.
like soaked in the water for like
Yeah.
an hour.
You think about how much you
Yeah.
prune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Oh fucking hell.
Oh, thanks.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, because yeah, like his like fingerprints and like facial features had eroded in the water. So they did like facial reconstruction, and like these images were like plastered across like in the media to try and identify the man. And then like the media dubbed the man the Rack Man, because they didn't know who he was, and they just gave him that name like based on the steel frame that he was on.
Okay, yeah.
But like it's weird because like some people like referred to it as like a crucifix, even though it wasn't really a crucifix.
Oh yeah, because he was kind of like tied there. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't know the identity of the man or like what really happened. But the things that they did figure out, um, other than the clothes he was wearing when he died, a pack of cigarettes and a lighter, he didn't really have like anything on him to identify who he was. Um, so the only like description they could like deduce with like forensic examination, yeah. So they like deduced that he was a man of vague Mediterranean or European descent, roughly 163 centimeters tall or 5'4", dark hair, and was aged between 21 and 46 years.
That's a big
That's quite a
gap.
big gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The body was thought to be submerged for at least a year. The steel frame was actually like they figured out that it was custom made specifically for
Oh
him.
shit.
So whoever killed him had actually welded the metal frame themselves based on his height and his like arm
That's
length.
Fucked
So
up.
like they obviously had to be like either a professional or someone like really experienced.
But also know him. Like it was a
Yeah.
premeditated attack, right?
Yeah.
Or was the frame designed to hold him underwater? Was that its like primary purpose?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Just to like kind of sink him down, I guess.
God. That's like
It's horrific, yeah.
Yeah.
premeditated is not good.
Yeah. So like the weight of the frame and the man combined was like obviously like it's too heavy for like one person to carry. So it was like suggested that there was more than one perpetrator. Obviously this isn't like a whole lot that the police had to go on, so they like investigated a bunch of leads as to like who the Rack Man could be. Most of whom consisted of like really shady people. But I will like list out like three people that they had. There were like maybe like the higher profile people that they had investigated.
They kind of thought that this was like a linked to a crime,
Like
underground
organized crime.
organized crime thing.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's just the reconstruction thing, as a reference. So one of the people that they thought the victim could be was Joe Biviano. He was a convicted drug dealer who went missing from Moines in Sydney in December of 1993. So he fit the appearance and the height of the Rack Man, but his DNA didn't match the samples that they had, so they like cleared him of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Then this man's still missing. Joe's still out there.
Joe is still
Oh
missing.
my god.
The next person they had investigated was Peter Mitris.
Oh,
so
he
was
kind
last...
of looks like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Mm.
So he was last seen in King's Cross in Sydney in April 1991. Police previously had received information that he had been beaten to death with his body being dumped in the ocean near Sydney. And he also like fit the appearance, but he was taller than the Rack Man by a few inches, I think. And his sister also came forth and confirmed that like I think it was his teeth. They were like different to the Rack Man's. I think more crooked or something. So they also were like, "No, it's not this guy."
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then one of the other more prominent, I guess, that they thought, who they thought it was Christopher Dale Flannery. He's also known as Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
I wonder
so he was
why.
he was like an alleged hitman who was accused of murdering like high-profile Australians. But he managed to evade conviction like multiple times, and then mysteriously disappeared after surviving an attempted murder on himself and his family
Whoa.
in 1985. But his dental records didn't match those of the Rackman. So Flannery is also still missing. Like, they don't know what happened to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stabby.
Yeah, it's so Aussie to call a hitman Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
Mr. Rent-A-Kill.
Thank you, you don't.
Yeah.
But like all the leads like were just like dead ends due to like discrepancies in like height and like dental records and other factors. So for like 24 years, they just didn't know who the Rackman was. And like his remains were just like kept in a refrigerator in a morgue.
That's so sad as well.
But then in 2018, I think August or something, they officially ruled that the remains belonged to a 37-year-old man, Max Tenchevsky. I think that's how you pronounce his surname.
Alright, Mike, there we go. Next slide, sorry.
Okay. So he was a known gambler. He was actually listed as a possible victim as well, and they did investigate into his disappearance, but he I think the DNA testing wasn't able to make a positive ID. So they actually said that it wasn't him at first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But then, yeah, in 2018, they obviously said, yeah, it was. So he was last seen by his partner leaving his house in Sydney on 11th of January, 1993. He was known to travel like really like far, like across like states for like gambling sprees. So they didn't really like raise any suspicion when like he didn't return like home that by the end of the day.
Right.
Even though he was like a known gambler, there was like no evidence to suggest that there was any connection to underworld gangs. But he was known to carry like debt because of his gambling addiction. They just didn't know how much his debt was. So they know who the Rackman is. They just don't know like
why
killed him.
Killed him.
Yeah, and why?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they did like assume that obviously it's not a random attack. Like it's premeditated. Yeah.
But to also
so
just
like
go out and like do that much effort just to
that's
like, completely welding like a whole thing.
Yeah.
For a guy that gambled. Like, you understand, like, crime figures because it can tie other people into it, but a seemingly kind of random civilian with bad gambling debt, it seems weird to go to that much effort. Like, wouldn't you just kill him and chuck him somewhere?
Yeah. But then also to pre-make a rack specified to his, like, body measurement. Well, wow, you fucking hated this man. Or something.
Yeah. It feels very like personal and very angry.
Really borrowed money from the wrong person.
Yeah. So like the theory is like, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like I can understand like, you know, why that could end up with like a murder, but I'm trying to get my head around like why in this way.
Yeah, it's a very strange way. Like, it seems excessive.
Yeah.
So the theories surrounding his murder, obviously his gambling debt, most likely the cause of his death. It was hypothesized that he was involved, like with the wrong kind of people and owed the wrong people money. And then because of that, people thought like he maybe borrowed money from a gang and owed them money. And then they just like killed him with like the intent of sending a message to warn others, which is kind of weird though, because you would want people to see the body and not like
drown them.
Drown the body,
or whatever the body.
Yeah. And then this one is a weird one, but some people in the early stages assumed that he was the victim of a satanic cult.
Of the 80s, the satanic panic, right? No, it wasn't.
Wait, was that in? Sorry, that in the 80s?
Because he died in the 90s, though.
Yeah,
No.
93, 94.
Was that still
Yeah.
happening? The satanic panic?
I don't know.
That stop? When
Did it ever?
Did it ever stop? Yeah. Yeah, but like that cult theory was just like mainly based on like the steel frame because people assumed it looked like a crucifix.
Oh yeah.
And there's obviously zero evidence to support any of this, but it was like one of the bigger theories aside from being involved with a gang.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of this year, they still do not know who killed him and why.
Wow.
They were only able to find out like who he was.
But that's a good point, Vandergeist. Maybe the body was originally supposed to be displayed, like on the rack.
I think he fell into the water.
Maybe it was
Fell
like
off a boat.
Like
maybe it was like left on like the ledge.
what if he
of,
was like what if it fell?
river.
What if it just like toppled
Yeah.
into the water or something?
Yeah, like he was supposed to be somewhere else. And what baffles me is that if this man wasn't fishing this part of the river, like, would he have been found? Like, his net
that's
just
true,
picked him
yeah.
up. Like, he very
Yeah.
easily could have not been found.
What else
Sorry,
is in the
Tan,
Hawksbury
I'm like
River?
having trouble looking at you because you're like in the outfit and just like legs spread.
My legs
I've
are real spread.
been cutting to Xan a lot, like just when Xan talks, so everyone is seeing this.
You seeing legs spread? Do you like it?
Oh my god.
I ain't no rat. I can change. I can change if my choice of outfit is distracting to you. Let me get up.
It's okay.
Let me get up. I'll go into the forest and I'll change.
I go into the forest. You could have just go into the
Behind
forest.
the van.
Gotta go.
Can
Bye.
you go? Bye.